This film is anything but a bore. Boar. Chris Sun's 2018 film that started production back in 2015. The plot. Millionaire Bruce, played by Bill Moseley from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, House of a Thousand Corpses, and The Devil's Rejects, etc., is taking his family out on a trip to see his wife's brother. Meanwhile, in town, life is going on as usual. Ken, played by John Jarrett from the Wolf Creek films and show, as well as Dark Age, is working on fixing fences. Sasha, played by Melissa DeCutts, is maintaining her pub, and everything is handled day by day. What everyone was not expecting was a massive pig to show up and start causing havoc. I loved this movie. While it is not perfect and does have some issues, my positives far outweigh my negatives. I'll say what few cons I have with this film are more related to the pacing, so let's get on with that, shall we? At first, things begin with a bang. I love the opening scene, and it sets up an eerie feeling of not being alone and or hunted. By around 20 minutes and all the major players in the film are introduced and the story starts to slow down. We follow Ken and his friend Blue, played by Roger Ward from Mad Max, as they are on a night out. It's actually a very well-written scene. Not only do the comedic elements land, but the heartfelt moments are genuine, and start the setup and end it with a gut-wrenching sadness. However, the scene does last maybe a bit too long, as they come across two couples, one of which is played by Sam Coward, that's really his last name, who is in Charlie's farm, whom are camping, or rather, what's left of them. The two scenes collide, and it could have been its own separate story, since it took so long. Also, there's some seemingly pointless banter between Ken and Blue once they find the campsite. They spend a lot of time and dialogue trying to decide what to do, and even when they do, they're still talking about it. Do something! Don't get me wrong, Ken and Blue are great characters, and I thought they were great for the movie. In fact, all the characters are great. I felt Nathan Jones knocked it out of the goddamn park with his performance. He was Charlie in Charlie's Farm, and did an amazing job in that too. By the way, they mention Charlie's Farm in this film. It's in passing, but it is welcome. Reeling it back a bit, I do have to say that the scenes between Ken and Blue, where they talk about Ken's deceased wife, is really well written, and by the end of their scene and the camp attack, it has a sad but hopeful triumph. Being shot beautifully is an understatement for this film. The amazing dusk and dawn shots and the foreboding sense I got while looking at the scenery is rather powerful. For a budget of around $2.5 million in US currency, this film not only looks impressive, but has a lot of awesome action sequences. The gore, the effects, this boar is a savage, and people get fucked up big time. Heads are viciously torn off, leaving a bloody mess where the headless corpse now lies. Full-grown men are carried off screaming and bleeding into the outback. Bodies are mutilated beyond recognition. Oh, and how could I go on without talking about the boar itself? Mostly shown in practical effects and sometimes in pretty realistic CG sequences, this bloody beast is impressive to say the least. Chris Sun wanted to use as much practical effects as possible, and damn does he deliver. The CGI isn't half bad either. In fact, for the budget, it is solid. The motion picture soundtrack, Mark Smith, does stellar work. It makes you feel uneasy, and that definitely helps add to the scenes of tension and action. The boar sound effects are great too. Its main roar is the same one used in Tobe Hooper's Crocodile from 2000, but it isn't too noticeably derivative. In fact, I think it fits quite well. This was a great movie. I love it almost as much as Razorback, and that's saying a lot because Razorback is awesome. Glue your eyes to the screen so the boar can gouge them out and bring you into a surreal state of visceral viscera. Overall, I give Boar a 4 out of 5. Lion Brian Gatto, host of Horror Show Entertainment. Make sure to like my Facebook page in the description below and to leave comments and subscribe.